Previously on Star Wars Theory.
There is great power in this place. This world was once the site of a Jedi Temple.
Darth Vader, lay down your weapons. You are surrounded.
As the scene pans out as far as the eye can see, we're greeted with one Dark Lord of the Sith, and thousands of rebels armed with tanks, snipers, and heavy artillery, all pointed at Vader. The desert is quiet as wind blows through the sands. Nothing else can be heard.
All I am surrounded by is fear and dead men.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to today's episode. In yesterday's issue, we went over Vader and Luke's head-on space collision, which led our story to the planet below, on Vrogas Vas, where Vader destroyed rebel ships in mid-air and then was ambushed by thousands of troops armed to the teeth, which is where our story today will pick up. If you haven't seen yesterday's, check it out before or after this one so that the story will make a little more sense. Without further ado, let's start Chapter 2. Here we go.
Vader, enough. Surrender now.
As Vader stood there in the desert sands of the planet, circled by an endless amount of rebels with tanks and snipers, they all pointed their primitive blasters at him as he stared in amusement. We can only imagine Anakin's face beneath the mask must have been having so much fun.
This is where the fun begins.
Commanding them to lower their weapons and promising them that they won't be harmed. The rebels fail to obey the Dark Lord's orders, which, of course, results in their deaths, as Vader uses the Force to ignite their thermal detonators on their chests and belts. The entire desert begins to beep and flash uncontrollably, as rebels start to panic frantically, wondering why their grenades were about to go off, as Vader whispers,
Light up the murdering.
No! No!
The entire battlefield erupts with explosions and flying rebel bodies. A heavy tank aims and fires point blank at Vader, who uses his Jedi-trained reflexes to quickly bring his saber to his face and deflect the laser blast to another tank, striking more fear into the men as they panic.
He took out a tank! He's over! We've got to get out of here! Don't panic!
As one rebel informs the others that the TIE Fighter has been stripped of its blaster array, we see Vader take hold of it and puts the rebel airspeeder down in flames, as he says,
You will not keep me from the boy.
Now that's pretty much as far as it goes for this comic, in terms of Vader fighting the rebels. The next scene jumps to where we last saw Luke, as he begins to walk through the uninhabited, destroyed Jedi Temple. Now keep in mind, this is a temple that we've never seen before in Star Wars. As he walks through the temple and observes the marking on its walls, he tells R2 that these etchings were done with a lightsaber, finally recognizing that this is a Jedi Temple. Seeing a faint glimmer to his right, he looks and sees Obi-Wan fairly appear as a Force ghost.
Ben?
But next to him there's someone else, someone he hasn't seen before, someone dressed in dark robes. But finally, he knew just who it was. It was Anakin, his father. Now I want to pause for a second here. The fact that Disney and Marvel recognize this is very cool, because it means that Anakin can return in Episode 8 as a Force ghost. But what slightly confuses me is that if Darth Vader was alive just in the next scene, Anakin appeared as a Force ghost. Now, that almost seems as if Anakin and Darth Vader are now two completely different entities, which I've done a video on, but that was only psychologically speaking. I wonder if now we'll get two different entities, perhaps Anakin visiting Luke and Darth Vader visiting Kylo Ren. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like they should be one character, just simply Anakin having turned to the dark side. Or maybe what Luke sees here is just a vision. Either way, let's continue. As C-3PO comes to meet them, R2 goes absolutely insane with beeps and warnings, when Luke is knocked out cold from the droid's electric shock touch. As he rubs the gold paint off his silver-plated body, Dr. Aphra reveals herself with her droids, ordering to take Luke away to Vader immediately. That is, until Han Solo and Chewie arrive at the scene.
Luke, we're gonna have company!
That wraps up the important parts of issue 2, and actually some of issue 3 as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it. In the next issue, Vader confronts Leia and battles a General Grievous Mon Calamari recreation from the Emperor. He looks kind of weird. I can bring that one to life for you as well if you like, otherwise we'll resume with the regular content until the new Vader comic issue drops next week. I hope you guys enjoyed it and were entertained. If you did, please support the content by hitting like, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, remember,
The Force will be with you always.